Good afternoon. Let's try that again. Good afternoon. Thank you. It's a beautiful day in Meadville, Pennsylvania. And my name is Ron Cole, and it is my distinct pleasure and privilege on behalf of the MLK Scholarship Fund Board to help to guide us through our ceremony this afternoon for what is the Meadville Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund 47th Annual Scholarship Reception. That's 47 years of scholarships totaling over $200,000 to over 130 recipients. That's an impactful difference in this community. Just one observation that I need to make in my role here at Allegheny College, that education today, there's nothing more important today than education for a healthy and just community. And I believe that the work of the MLK Scholarship Board is helping to provide that for us right here for our students in our hometown. And I thank you all for gathering to recognize that today. I refer you to your program for a brief history of the MLK Scholarship Fund. And of particular note, I'd like to highlight the logo for the organization. It was designed by Harrison Dixon and Kevin Yates to highlight the enlightenment that Dr. King has brought to our country and to the world with respect for all people. I think it's a compelling logo and a wonderful narrative behind it. The theme for our reception this year is believing in yourself and focusing on your priorities. Our reception this year honors Dr. Denise Johnson, President Emeritus of the MLK Scholarship Fund. We look forward to Dr. Johnson's introduction and remarks later in the program, as well as the remarks of our special guest speaker, Mr. Demarius Newsome. I now have the pleasure of turning the podium over to Mr. Joe Galbo III, Vice President of the Meadville Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund, to provide some welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cole. And on behalf of the MLK Scholarship Fund, I would like to thank each and every one of you that took the time out this afternoon to be here with us to celebrate the wonderful steps that these young people are going to take on the journey to fulfilling the dream of Dr. King and the dream of this committee. There is a symbiotic relationship with our group and Allegheny College. They have been kind enough to allow us to have this reception in this beautiful Tippy Center for many years now. And I think that this is the type of partnership that is important for the students to understand, because this is part of life. Individuals helping other individuals, people that you don't know. That was Dr. King's instruction to all of us, and that is, after 47 years, what we continue to do, what we take pride in doing. And in looking at the smiling faces that we see in this room today, that we believe that we have begun to fulfill part of Dr. King's dream. And we keep marching down that road. But from this standpoint, this is one of these rare occasions where we take, and we just basically take a little bit of time to celebrate a tiny fulfillment of his dream. And toward that end, we welcome you here this afternoon and look forward to this wonderful reception. Thank you.
Am I anywhere in the general vicinity coming up? No. Okay.
Musical selection.
Okay.
I now invite Reverend Joel DeAngie to provide our invocation today.
Let us pray. Father, we come to your throne of grace, thanking you for this day. For this is the day that you made. Therefore, we will rejoice and be glad therein. We thank you, Father, for the memory and the legacy of Dr. King, all that he taught us through his life of nonviolence. We thank you for the legacy of this very scholarship. And we thank you, Father God, for the hard work of these young people to be presented with the scholarship this afternoon. We pray that you would bless them all the days of their life, and that they can take this small token, Lord God, and go very far with it. For you told us not to despise the day of small beginnings. So God, we give you thanks this afternoon. Bless the food and the hands that have prepared it. Let it be nourishment to our bodies. And all of these things, and in all of these things, we give you thanks. In Jesus' name, amen and amen.
Thank you, Reverend DeAngie. It is now my distinct pleasure to recognize some special guests who are joining us today. Of course, our most special guests are our scholarship recipients and their families. Let's give them a quick round of applause. And we'll get to meet each one individually shortly in the program. There are a broad range of guests joining us today who serve our community in really so many ways. And on behalf of the MLK Scholarship Fund Board, I'm honored to acknowledge these guests. Ms. Jan Filippa, President of the Crawford Central School Board, thank you. Janet Haas, an honoree of the MLK Scholarship Board. Dr. Denise Johnson and her husband Anthony Johnson. Denise is Chief Medical Officer at the Meadville Medical Center and MLK President Emeritus. Thank you. Mr. Christian Marr of the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation. Christian. Mr. Demarius Newsome, our guest speaker today, Assistant District Attorney of Fulton County in Atlanta, Georgia. Reverend Sarah Roncolato, pastor at Stone United Methodist Church, and David Roncolato, Director of Civic Engagement at Allegheny College. Mr. Christopher Soff, Crawford County Commissioner. He's joined by his wife Lori and daughter Victoria. Honorable Mayor Leroy Stearns. Who's also doing the photography for today's event. Thank you, Mayor Stearns. And Mr. Francis Wiederspain Jr., Crawford County Commissioner. I'm not sure if he's able to join us today. Commissioner Wiederspain, are you here? And with that, I thank everybody for joining us today and coming out in this beautiful afternoon. I now turn the podium to Mayor Stearns for the city proclamation.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. It's a beautiful day in the city of Meadville, isn't it? No more rain. I just sold my pontoon boat. So it's always an honor to be at events representing the city and on behalf of council. But this is one of the special ones that I like because I get to see the youth, what I call youth at my age, work very hard and diligent for a job well done. So let's give them a round of applause. They did a great job, the recipients. With that, I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in equal access to all students to pursue quality education, and whereas based on Mrs. Bernice Broadwell initially proposed of creating the scholarship of the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Trust was established in 1972 in Meadville. And in 1986, a capital fund drive was started to make the scholarship fund portable, and whereas the scholarship helped funds portions of the college tuition and to several deserving students, regardless of race, and whereas over 90% of those who received the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship has graduated from college and thereby fulfilled Dr. King's hope of quality education. Now there be it resolved, and I affirm that I, H. Leroy Stearns, Mayor of the City of Meadville, on behalf of Meadville City Council, city staff, all the residents of the city, commend the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Corporation for honoring the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through the Scholarship Award Program and providing the opportunities for students from Meadville to continue their pursuit of quality education and continuing good work and embracing the legacy of Dr. King.
Thank you, Mayor Stearns. Now let us be enlivened and inspired by musical selection provided by our friends Reverend Joel DeAngie, Mr. Joe Galbo, and Mr. Michael Prester. Following the musical selection, we'll have refreshments. Our hosts, fellow board members, will be releasing tables, and the refreshments you'll see out around the corner in the lobby. And thank you, and we look forward to hearing more music later on this afternoon. So it is my distinct pleasure to welcome to the podium Mr. Lee McFerrin, board member of the MLK Scholarship Fund and Allegheny alumnus class of 1988. Lee?
Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope you're enjoying yourselves on this beautiful day. Denise A. Johnson, MD, is the Chief Medical Officer at the Meadville Medical Center. She joined the administrative team in 2008 and is currently oversees the organization's quality department, physician recruitment and retention, medical staff services, osteopathic family medicine internship, and residency programs. Dr. Johnson received her medical degree at Georgetown University School of Medicine and completed her residency at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Prior to joining the leadership team, Dr. Johnson spent 13 years in private practice in Meadville. She is board certified in the obstetrics and gynecology by the American Board of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Dr. Johnson is a fellow at the American College of Healthcare Executives and serves as one of Pennsylvania's governor's commissioners for women. She has been involved in various community and regional groups focusing on the needs of women. Dr. Johnson is past chair of the board of directors of the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape and served as the president of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund from 1999 to 2004. Dr. Johnson has had numerous awards over the past 27 years, including Premier Quality Award for Excellence in Care of Pregnancy and Related Conditions, Meadville Medical Center, YWCA Tribute to Women in Professions Leadership Award for the Community Service, and the J. William Hillman Award for Teaching Excellence. Dr. Johnson currently has 3 appointments: President of the Board of Directors of the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Rape, Chair of the Board of Directors for the Meadville Area Free Clinic Board, and she is also serving on the American College of Healthcare Executives, Western Pennsylvania chapter, and chair of its Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you this year's President Emeritus, Dr. Denise A. Johnson.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. It's great to be here and to see this huge crowd that is here to support the education of our youth. As you've heard, I've been in Meadville for a while. It's been more than 20 years that I've been here and was in private practice in OBGYN. And I know that a few of you here I helped with deliveries, but the parents are coming up to tell me that they're going off to college and past college, and I don't see how that could be true because I'm not that old. I don't know about them. When I was asked to join the MLK Scholarship Fund, I was really impressed by what was happening in Meadville. I was really impressed by the fact that many of you, Dr. Armindia Dixon and others, saw the need to support our dream for education for our youth and really made that a reality. Not only made it a reality in that time, but a reality for generations to come. And really impressed that there have been 47 years of scholarships to many of our local kids who've gone on to do amazing things. I am honored to be part of that company who helped with that fund over a period of time, and really honored to just be a part of many of you in here that have helped that as well. It's really exciting to see the recipients, the recipients and families here today, but those who have had the award in the past and gone on to do fantastic things. I'm really looking forward to hearing from our guest speaker, and I do have to tell a story about him. So I am not surprised that he is an attorney because he's been practicing for that for a very long time. When he was very young, he accompanied his mother to some appointments, and I spent a lot of time having very long conversations with him, and I don't think that I ever won any of those conversations, but I tried, and I don't know, maybe one of these days I will. But one thing that really sticks in my mind, my practice was obstetrics and gynecology, so we had a patient bathroom, of course, it had women on it because those are the only patients that I ever had. And he explained to me one day that, he comes in here too, and I should make accommodations for, not females on there. And, I considered this, but he came up with a solution for me, and he drew me a nice little symbol so that when he or other men came in there, I could paste it over the symbol that I had on the bathroom. So just really proud of all of the recipients that we've had over the years, and really glad to be a little part of it. It's great to see all of you in the community investing in their success. And we have seen time and time again award recipients come back and show us what a huge impact all of your generosity and support has done for them. So thank you for letting me be a part of it, and looking forward to the rest of the program.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson, and thank you, Mr. McFerrin. It's now my pleasure to introduce to the podium Reverend Melissa Burnett.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our speaker today. And I don't really think I need to introduce him to everyone, but to those that don't know him. Now, I do have a lot of stories as well, but I'm going to spare him because I don't want to embarrass him, because I've been knowing him since he was this high. But Demarius D. Newsome, Esquire. That sounds pretty doggone good, doesn't it? He's just like a son to me. Him and my son grew up together, so I have a lot of fond memories of Demarius. But I remember one of these stories when he was about 4th grade, and a lot of times kids already don't know what they want to do when they're an adult. But I said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And he said, "I'm going to be an attorney." And I said, okay. And he always, like Dr. Johnson said, he always won arguments. We just let him win. We just let him win, But today he made that true. So I want to tell you a little bit about him. You can follow along in your program with me if you like. But Demarius D. Newsome was born in Meadville, Pennsylvania, September 3rd, 92. Well, I thought it was 93 because he didn't get a chance to go to kindergarten with our sons because he was 2 days late. You know how the system is. So he had to go to school the next year. So that's why I thought it was 93. Thanks for correcting me there. He's the son of the late Jacqueline C. Newsome and the grandson of Reverend Berta Newsome Jones, the founder of United Faith Fellowship Church in Meadville, and Reverend Shavine Jones. He has 2 sisters who are here with us today, Deandra and Keisha. Demarius attended Crawford Central Schools, graduating with honors from Meadville Area Senior High School in 2011. He received a full scholarship to Hampton University, where he earned a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in leadership studies. While at Hampton, he joined the Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia Fraternity of America and was in the Exterior Club in Aquanics. He graduated summa cum laude. After graduation, he began his legal education at the Emory University School of Law in Atlanta, Georgia. And while at Emory, he was actively involved with the Black Law Students Association, the Emory Law House Program, and he studied bar and the Student Bar Association. His involvement with the Emory Law Mock Trial Society resulted in being crowned champion and best advocate at the Palmetto State Classics in Columbia, South Carolina. He was also named to the Order of the Barristers in May of 2018. He graduated from Emory Law School in May 2018, passing the bar in October of 2019. He resides in Atlanta, Georgia, where he is presently a junior assistant district attorney at the office of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. He is assigned to the Non-Complex Trial Division. He is also very active in his local church, the Ray of Hope. So at this time, can we honor and receive our guest speaker today, Attorney Demarius Newsome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I guess the first thing I'll say is, my what a difference 8 years worth of time can make. As I was sitting back and listening to these and listening to my bio being read over, and I'm just like, all that happened in 8 years, and it's still very, very surreal to me, because I remember being in this same room with these same people receiving this particular award. So before I do begin, the award recipients, I know you're going to be shouted out later on, but can you please stand for me, please? The award recipients. First and foremost, I'll definitely get the chance to introduce myself to you individually, but congratulations on all of your accomplishments, everything that you've done so far, and everything that you will do. You're stepping into a long line and legacy of individuals who have gone on and done great things and made great changes in the world. Never be afraid to make those kind of changes. I'm also glad to be joined here by my family, my grandmother, Reverend Berta Newsome Jones, both of my sisters, both of which are now juniors in college at North Carolina A&T for graphic design, heading in towards architecture for Keisha, and also at Albany State for nursing for DeAndre, which is also just amazing to me as well. Because, yes. And I'm very proud of everything that they have accomplished so far. I'm also joined by my uncle Bucky, my cousin Deja. It's also very good to see you all. I'm also joined by my friends from back from good old Meadville Senior High School, way in the back. Doug, Mary, and her fiance Bill, Josh, his girlfriend Maggie. It's good to see all of you. I'm seeing a lot of teachers, a lot of individuals who I've met here through my time in Meadville, and I'm so grateful to each of you for the part that you played in my life so far. I really wouldn't be where I'm at without the rest of you. So, thank you. But today, today I want to talk to you guys about, I understand that the theme this year is about focusing on your priorities. But I want to talk to you about focusing on those priorities through the understanding of what never means. When we take a look at the dictionary, we understand that never, as a definition, literally means at no time in the past or future, on no occasion, not ever or not at all. We also understand that it comes from two previous English words, ne and effre. Ne meaning not, and effre meaning ever, which relates back to roots of always or in a lifetime. So the word never really means not ever. When we hear the word, it has a negative connotation, but we remember that it reminds us of different rules, advisements, pro tips, and prohibitions that we are to follow. And most of the time, those prohibitions are for our benefit, because they tell us what we are not supposed to do in order to avoid a particular consequence. We're told never to stay up too late because it teaches us the importance of rest and recovery. Mm-hmm. We're taught to never cross the street without looking both ways, because that shows us how to avoid danger in our environments. Right. We're told never to call some people, such as our parents, our elders, our supervisors, by their first names unless given any special permission, because it's important for us to understand to always give respect before we receive that same respect. We're taught not to break the law so that the order can be maintained. Yes. We're taught never to take people for granted, because it's important for others to know that they are important to you, that they are appreciated, and that the same gratitude you expect is the same gratitude that you should give.
All right.
We live in a world full of nevers, and most of those times those nevers are meant to help us to avoid the impending consequences of our actions. And today I'm here to share with you, and especially with the graduates or anyone else that is listening, a few nevers that can help you avoid some pitfalls that, when applied, can lead you to a successful educational experience, a successful career, and a successful life. Number one, never not have a plan. For everybody who might be an English snob, I'm going to be using a lot of double negatives here. We're just going to roll with it, okay? So, in terms of having a plan, you understand that when you're taking a trip, you make a plan. You have a large assignment that you have to complete. You make a plan. You broke something and you try to figure out how you're going to hide it from the person to which it belongs. You make a plan. And the same way you handle these smaller matters is the same way that you're going to handle it yourselves through school, through your careers, and through the rest of your lives. See, for those of us who do read our Bibles, we understand the Bible tells that the steps of a good man or woman are ordered. And that means that each step that you take is crucial to where you are going.
Yes.
When Mom Melissa was explaining back when I was in elementary school and I was saying I wanted to be an attorney, that was the very beginning of my planning process. Because take a look back through a few dates, I'm remembering November 14th, 2018, when I began my first day at the DA's office down in Atlanta, Georgia. Or November 2nd, I was sworn in as a prosecutor in the Superior Court of Fulton County. Or October 30th, when I was sworn in as an attorney to be an advisor, a counselor, and a solicitor in all of Georgia. October 26th, when I passed the bar. Right before then, a few months, I had taken the bar, graduated in May, reaching back towards graduating from Hampton 4 years before then. 4 years before then, graduating from high school. 4 years before then, sitting at the library with a college blue book opened up and several sheets of paper, figuring out how exactly I would get to this point. So today, as I'm looking out at you, it's really the culmination of 14 years worth of planning and preparation. But without a plan, you don't necessarily know where you are going. To each of you graduates, I understand you may be heading down a different path that's far different than my own, which is great, because you're supposed to always choose a path for yourself. And with everything else that is represented here, you have a lot of things that you want to accomplish. So to that, I say, be intentional with everything that you do. Have a reason for why you are doing it, and make sure that each step you take is a step that is worth taking. And also to understand that not every option that you have is the right one. And you have to understand the importance of proper planning as you move forward. And never be afraid to be flexible with your plans. Know what you want to do, but also understand there may be more than one way to get there. You may have the idea of you want to go to school for a particular thing, and it may be your school choice C and not your school choice A. You may have to adjust how you proceed through your curriculum. You may have to figure out a different way of taking a test. You may have to take a test at a later time than you expected, but be flexible. Because each step that you take is going to get you to where you are to go.
Amen.
Number two, never lose sight of your path. Now, moving forward, also for those of you who do know me, I live a lot of things and understand a lot of things through life through like my Christian upbringing, Disney, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. So in thinking about a path, I'm actually reminded of the movie Pocahontas that came back out in 1995. When she was talking with her father Paladin about choosing paths for her lives, he was explaining to her about what her future would hold in terms of her marriage and what she would mean for their people. But it was a path that he wanted her to take. But she understood that she had a path that she wanted to choose for herself, and the whole movie was about her chasing and figuring out the path that she wanted to choose for herself. For all of us in life, we understand that that is what we want to have to make sure we do, that we choose our paths for ourselves. There may be those who may want you to stray away from where you're headed, or there are moments where someone may want to choose a path for you, and there may be times when you may come to the fork in the road, and you have to choose whether to go left or right. But in the words of Chief Powelson at the very end of that movie, you must choose your own path. You are the traveler, and you're the one who has to make that journey. That means that you have to be the one to decide where you are to go. And if you set the path, don't lose sight of it. Don't let distractions lead you astray. Don't let the shadows of obscurity obstruct your view. And don't let others force a path upon you that you do not want to take, that you aren't ready to take, or that you know it is not your place to take in the first place. Remember, choose your own path. Number three, never stop asking questions. A lot of the stories that a lot of you have with me are always where I started with a series of questions, and I was not satisfied until I got an answer to every question. And all of us here who are present in this room, we're all scholars to some degree. We have our degrees, our diplomas, our certifications, our accreditations, our accolades, or several other things that indicate that we have the knowledge and experience for that which we do. But how do we all acquire this knowledge? You learn. How do you learn? You ask questions, because you understand the learning process is both continuous and outreaching. For one, the learning process is continual because you don't know everything. Even your future professors who have their several doctorates and publications and all these lab and test results are still learning. Myself, while I am a younger professional, I've accomplished much over the course of my years, I know that I'm still learning. And the simple thing applies to everyone, because we know there's always something to learn, something to apply, and something to understand. And the learning process is also outreaching because there's always something for you to learn that's beyond the canon of your own personal knowledge. Because if the information is new to you, that means that it is worth learning, applying, and sharing with other people. I'm reminded of an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender in which Iroh was speaking with Zuko about understanding the process of how all the elements work together. And he literally said, if you only draw knowledge from one source, then it becomes rigid and stale. Which means that if you draw from multiple sources, you can gain a more holistic view of the world, and also a broader perspective of what you do on the day-to-day. For example, my own life and my own practice, I know one thing I do is, as a prosecutor, I represent the state. And represent the state of Georgia, but that doesn't just mean that I'm representing the system for which I am defending. But it means I have to have a perspective from what it means to the rest of society. A perspective of what it means to the victims of the crimes, if there are any. A perspective of what it means to make sure that the justice is fairly and righteously applied. But then also the consideration of the interests of my defendant, because I am the individual who is responsible for making sure that their rights are protected at every single moment. But I would never have come to that understanding of multiple viewpoints of how you apply yourself had I not continuously asked questions. So for all of you, don't be afraid to look beyond your own knowledge center, because you may discover there's some new information that is applicable to you in any situation that you are in. Number 3, never let your eyes deceive you. Now, we understand that our eyes are very special because with them we can perceive many things in our world that may not be able to be understood by any other sense. With our eyes, we can see color, shape, size, distance, appearance, and many other things. And from these perceptions, we get an idea of what something appears to be. But at times, as you know, we're a human. Our eyes can get weak. Just ask anybody who wears glasses. Or there might be a time which your vision may be obstructed by light, or you might just be dehydrated and your eyes aren't working as clearly as they should. You understand that your view may be obstructed by something that is in the way, and sometimes something's appearance is not directly reflective of its true form. My grandma likes to laugh at this story all the time because I remember I was about 17 years old and I was walking from my godmother's house on the way home. It was about 10 o'clock at night. It was dark. But I'm just going right up the street. It's nothing crazy. As I'm walking, I see my shadow out in front of me, and then all of a sudden it starts to get narrower and narrower and narrower as I'm coming up under a street light. But for some reason, when I came up under the street light, something jolted across my vision and I sprinted right at the block. I didn't know what it was. but I need to get out of Dodge. As I get home, I close the door. I'm standing back there praying, and my grandma's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I think I just saw my shadow, and it scared me a little bit." And of course, in that moment, it's funny. And even now, reflecting on it, it's still funny. But it shows what happens when something appears to be something else. Your shadow is just a reflection of the light from wherever else it may be coming from, but it itself has no substance and no form. But it appears to be something else. Literally, do not let your eyes deceive you, but look beyond what you see to understand what is really there. Number 5, never forget the people that you meet along the way. Because we as humans, we're naturally social creatures, and our social bonds are imperative to how we have learned to navigate, understand, and thrive in this world of ours. In fact, it's ingrained in our collective genetic memories. We form friendships, we have families, we work with others, we socialize. And we understand that we do this because social relationships are key to your overall survival and your overall success. I know, as I stated to you earlier at the beginning, I know I would not be the person that I am today without the support of my family, my friends, my whole village, which includes all of you who are right here in this room. Because all of you over the years have surrounded me and supported me and helped me all along the way. But part of understanding the people, part of not forgetting the people who you meet along the way also includes not forgetting about the people who were your naysayers, your bullies, your taunters, your slanderers, those who lied on your name, because they matter just as much. A lot of us have heard that metaphor about people in your life being like parts of a tree, where you have the people who are leaves are only meant to be there for a season. You have limbs and branches who can provide some support and structure, but can easily fall away with a strong enough gust of wind, a bolt of lightning, or they're easily taken by another individual. You have your roots, who are your foundation that provides the stability and anchors you to the ground. It's a source of your strength. But then you also have the other trees that make up your grove. Yes. Where these are the people who grow up right along beside you and they take nothing from you. It's your own magnificence as a tree is not diminished or diminish anything else who is growing up around you. But in fact, you are all sharing the same space, growing towards the same sun. You communicate, you share resources, and you understand that you are all part of the same big tree of life. Then you also sometimes you have your ivies and your climbing vines. Those who just want to just ride your coattails and bypass all the hard work straight to the top. Sometimes you have those weeds who want to try to choke you out in your very early developing stages. Sometimes you have those who come into the grove. Sometimes they set fire. They pick flowers. They cause damage, but all these different experiences are a part of the growing process because they make you the magnificent and unique tree that you are. It makes you the true wonder for everyone to behold. So understanding that, not forgetting each person goes back to making sure that understanding that everyone has a purpose in your life. You find that purpose in them, you cherish it, and you never forget it or them. Because each purpose that you find in another person is integral to figuring out the purpose that you have in yourself. Number 6, never forget to celebrate. When something good happens, we celebrate. We're gathered here today to celebrate the accomplishments of the honorees. Because we understand that a celebration is an outward expression of an internal satisfaction in response to something good that just happened. You graduate, you celebrate, you win an award, you celebrate. But celebrations aren't just limited to these big moments. Because if you got up early and had enough time for your morning routine, celebrate. You got to work on time, celebrate. You thought traffic was about to be terrible and the road was wide open for you to get there, celebrate. A friend of yours has got some amazing news that has nothing to do with you whatsoever. You celebrate. Remember that all wins are wins, no matter how small. You celebrate yourself, you celebrate others, and you never let anyone tell you when it's acceptable to celebrate, how you should celebrate, or that your method of celebration was inappropriate. Why? Because all good news is good news, and it doesn't matter who it comes from, when it comes, or what it pertains to. Period. Number 7, never be afraid to take an L. Look, to be honest with you, you're not going to win all the time. There's going to be times you're going to be disappointed, you're going to lose. There are going to be times in which you will do your absolute very best, and it will still not be good enough. But learn this. Take your L's with grace and learn how to lose. In learning how to lose, your biggest ally is your humility. And your biggest roadblock is not shame from the losing, but your pride as a result from it. In that same episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, they were focusing on how to understand how to bend lightning. For some background, for those who don't know, Avatar: The Last Airbender involves the manipulation of the elements by the individuals who are part of the world. It's literally the inner manifestation of their energy that manifests itself out into the physical world. Here, they were learning how to bend lightning, an advanced firebending technique that not everybody can master. And at the time, Zuko was going through a whole lot of personal drama, and lightning blew up in his face. And he's like, I don't understand what the issue is. He was getting upset, and he was beginning to be ashamed of himself. And Iroh said, no, you have to let go of your shame and all of your anger at your failures, or you're never going to move past this point. And Zuko responded, he said, I'm not ashamed. I'm proud as ever. And Iroh smoothly said, pride is not the opposite of your shame, but its source. And true humility is the only antidote to shame. So to all of you in this room, I encourage you, never be afraid to take an L, never be ashamed to take an L, but use it as a moment to assess what happened, what you did right, what you did wrong, and apply it to your next opportunity.
That's right.
Number 8, never forget your journey. Now, when I say your journey, it's not just from this point forward or what you may be doing in the next 10 years, but your whole life is your journey. From the moment that you first opened your eyes, you began your journey. From the moments that your parents were created in their parents' wombs and so on, you began your journey. When you were but a twinkle in the eye of God, you began your journey.
Yes.
And in understanding your journey, you have to understand 3 crucial aspects: where you've come from, where you're going, and where you are right now. So in terms of where you come from, why does your past matter? Your past matters because your experiences provide a context of how you approach things and process things in the present moment. Your choices from then affect your choice and your opportunities now. Your future matters because you have to reach your destination. You have to understand that you have to keep moving forward, and what you have learned shows you what you have yet to learn and what you have yet to do, what you have yet to accomplish. But the most important of these 3 is your present. Why does your present matter? Because that's where you are. This moment is your present. This is where you are. And I remember thinking back to the movie Moana. It was all about wayfinding and traveling across the sea. We remember that Moana's journey began at Motunui and it ended at Te-Fiti. But the whole movie was occurring while she was out in the ocean. When she first met Maui and was learning how to sail, he correctly said, no, it's not sailing, it's wayfinding. And wayfinding is seeing where you're going in your mind by knowing where you are currently, but also knowing where you've been. And when he said this, when I said this, I imagine Moana was immediately thinking of home. She was imagining how she saw the island of Te-Fiti and how she's going to restore the heart, but she was only focused then on figuring out how to get from A to B. From there, we take a lesson of the mindfulness of now. Being in your now reminds you that your past does not define you. And being in your now shows that your future can be different if you let it. Being in your now is the only place that you can be. So don't rush to your destinations and don't miss anything that's along the way, but enjoy your journey and never forget it. Number 9, learn to breathe. Now, this is something I've had to learn for myself. For all of you who know me, you know that I've always been a doer. I've always been ripping and running. I've always been doing this thing and that thing and everything. And it has attributed to me being the achiever that I am today, but at the cost of a lot of stress because I did not take time to breathe. It was only when I got to law school, I started taking L's left and right, trying to do everything, that I realized I'm like, no, I have to take some moments to myself. The importance of self-care and breathing. So, what does it mean to breathe? Everybody take a nice deep breath. Right then, you just filled your whole body full of a lot of oxygen and other things else that you need for your body to process itself. Your breath is important to your body because it's how you live. But breathing is also good for your mind and good for your soul. Also, it is in a different episode. It's another conversation between Iroh and Zuko. Iroh and Zuko was doing a whole lot of talking in this TV series. He literally said that the power in firebending comes from the breath, because the breath makes energy in your body, it extends past your limbs, and it creates fire. For us, we understand that if we take that moment to breathe, we can create something within ourselves that manifests itself out into the physical world. The importance of breathing. Self-care. Take care of yourselves. You're going to be ripping and running with your assignments from campus building to campus building to campus building. You're not going to get along with your roommate. You're going to miss the calf. You might have to throw hands at somebody. Breathe. Because you understand that breathing can clear your mind. Even now in practice, I actually have a written affirmation on my board that's directly in front of my desk that says, hey, breathe. Because it reminds me that the stresses of my day-to-day to just take a moment for myself to then figure out how to reassess and move forward. So, the next set right about here is, I'm just about done. I know I've been talking for a little while. The next set I find to be the most 3 important nevers for you all to consider. So the next one coming up. Never lose faith or stop believing just because it seems impossible. We understand that faith is a very key part of being human. Why? Because you don't have the physical proof of the very thing that you expect. Each day when you get up, you have the faith you're going to make it to work in one piece. When it's payday, you have faith that direct deposit is going to drop. When you go to bed at night, you have faith that the sun will continue to shine and that you will see it again the next morning. You don't have proof of it, but you believe that it's going to happen. For those of us who we look into our Bibles, we understand that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. We are reminded that even in our tough times, there will be glory that follows afterwards. We are reminded that with God, nothing shall be impossible. And if you look around you, and if you have faith, impossible things are continuing to happen every day. So never give up, never give in. Be strong and of good courage. You keep moving forward. Do not give in to your doubts, your fears, or anything that can hold you back, including yourself. Number 11, never forget who you are. At times, we understand that things are difficult. Sometimes life really has too much going on, and it sucks. Sometimes we have so much to bear that we lose sight of who we are. It's kind of odd to think that you do lose sight of who you are, but it happens more often than not. And you are going to have to fight to remember, and it's a fight that you cannot let yourself lose. Because when you forget who you are, you forget what you were meant to accomplish. And remembering who you are, you remember your history. You remember your family. You remember everything that you had been through, everything that you had accomplished. Remember that you were the one who was sent for a particular reason. The manifestation of a specifically designed creation. A gift from the Creator. You remember your drives, you remember your passions. And if you need to, you have someone there to remind you. I remember Zuko, and in a different episode, Zuko was facing an identity crisis, and Iroh said, it is time for you to look inward and ask yourself the big questions. Who are you, and what do you want? When Moana had given the heart of Te back to the ocean, and her grandmother had to show up and literally say, I know a girl from an island. Moana, do you know who you are? When Simba was running from his destiny out there in the Pride Lands, Mufasa showed up in the sky and said, Simba, have you forgotten me? You've forgotten who you are. Look inside yourself, because you are more than what you have become. You must take your place. Remember who you are. You are my son and the one true king. Every single one of those moments is where someone had to remind an individual of who they were in order for them to move forward. Personally, I had to have one of these big, long conversations with my grandmother. I remember it was like the eve of the bar exam. I was shaking in my boots. My words were saying that I could do it. In my mind, I was doubting it. In my heart, I was unsure. And my body was shaking. And the only person who could see what the issue was my grandmother. And she literally had to sit me down. She said, have you forgotten who you are? Have you forgotten where you've been? Have you forgotten how far you have come from, what you have been through? Have you forgotten how magnificent and blessed you are? Literally saying, Demarius, have you forgotten? And honestly, Grandma, if it was not for your sternness in that moment, I would not be in the place that I am now. And I thank you. And the hardest part sometimes about when you forget who you are, you sometimes end up creating your worst enemy, yourself. So to each in this room, never forget who you are. And if you do, remember whose you are, and that you have a purpose that must be fulfilled. Last but not least, never be afraid to dare. You can't get where you're going if you don't take that first step. You have courage. You be bold. You take chances. You make mistakes, and you get messy. You go the distance. Because if you are too hesitant to move, you'll never see what you are truly capable of. But you must keep going, because there is someone out there who is waiting for you. Someone who needs you. Someone who requires the work that you are the only one who is able to do. I'm reminded of one of the best movies I've ever seen in life. Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, the version with Whitney and Brandy, the one that we all grew up with. And I'm reminded at the very end of the movie, when everything was all said and done, she sang a very simple song that said, someone wants you, you know who. Now you're living, there's music in you. Now you're hearing something new because someone is playing the music in you. Now you're living and you know why. And now there's nothing you can't try. Move a mountain. Light the sky and make a wish come true, because there is music in you. But the music that is in you cannot be played if you do not dare to play the first note. So to each of you in this room, I encourage you to take these nevers and move forward. To each of the graduates, I highly encourage you to do everything you can to do all that you want and all that you can, because you are more than capable. God bless you.
Mr. Newsome, those are inspired words, inspiring words. Talking about finding and following a path, having faith. What those words reinforce for me is the hope that this community, Meadville, Pennsylvania, can have the hope, has a future, and can have the faith to be the beloved community that we strive to be. Please, let's give Mr. Newsome another hand. Thank you. I did pick up on the point about having a plan, and there might be somebody here who has a plan to try to find their way home, but if you're missing your car key, please come and see me. I have them up here. Nice segue. Thank you. And in this moment, I would like to reintroduce what I'm going to start calling our MLK Scholarship Fund Trio. Joel DeAngie, Joe Galbo, and Michael Presser. Thank you once again for enriching us with your music. Now, the highlight of the evening is the presentation of our scholarships this evening. I invite Ms. Linda Jens, board member of the Meadville Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund, to the podium to present the scholarships. I also invite President and Vice President of the board, Dr. Armendia Dixon and Mr. Joe Galbo, to help present the scholarships as well.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to introduce the 2019 scholarship recipients. I guess I'm kind of far away from here. Is that better? Sorry. Okay. Our first recipient is Marissa Basil. She's a daughter of Scott and Tracy. Her weighted GPA is 5.43. During her high school years, Marissa participated in many activities and organizations that included varsity cheerleader 2015 to 2018, cheerleader captain 2018, Mashapella 2016 to 18, treble choir 2015 to 2018, drama club 2016 to 2018, Spanish club 2018, and the National Honor Society 2018. Her community mindedness is apparent through her participation in local dance for 12 years, theater for 7 years, and as a volunteer in her church in the nursery from 2016 to 2018. Marissa was accepted to Allegheny College for the fall of 2019 semester. While her future plans and goals are not set in stone, she has a love for foreign languages and culture. Marissa is described as friendly and respectful. She has a demeanor that is contagious. She is the type of person who makes everyone around her feel comfortable and welcome. And I would like to call Marissa up so she can read her bio. You can put it closer to you if you need to.
Hi. Thank you for having me, and thank you to all who are in attendance for listening to my speech and providing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Marissa Vizil, and I have brought with me my parents, Scott and Tracy Vizil. I'd like to thank them for always supporting my extremely widespread interests and believing that I could do anything that I put my mind to. I'd also like to thank the Scholarship Board for providing me with the opportunity to accept this wonderful scholarship. I was very fortunate to have been accepted to my first choice of college, Allegheny College. So as I'm standing here on campus, I feel very at home. As for my major and minor, I'm not sure exactly what I want to pursue, but I am going to take advantage of the many diverse options available here and further explore those options. I know for certain that I am going to study a language though, and I want to be able to connect with as many people in the future as I can, without limitations such as language barriers being present. Learning about and experiencing other cultures is what I'm passionate about. So this will likely very heavily influence my decision in choosing what to study. This love of cultures has always been present since I was little, but became even more apparent when I was given the ability to take a language in high school. Through my studies of various languages, I have been able to communicate with people from places I've never thought about, or places that I've really never been exposed to. Some of these places were India, Vietnam, and Colombia. I'm eager to take in any shred of foreign language and culture, and whether that be watching a show in another language, listening to foreign music, learning to count to 100 in Japanese, which I can do, or directly interacting with somebody else. This scholarship will provide support in my pursuit to make the world a little smaller. And I'm very grateful to have been chosen as one of the recipients of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship. Muchas gracias. Mahalo nui loa. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marissa. Next, I would like to speak about Wade J. Clark. He's the son of Joel and Kelly Clark. His weighted GPA at the Meadville High School is 5.05. During his high school years, Wade participated in extracurricular activities that included athletics, community volunteer activities, and student council. Wade participated in the Pennsylvania State Troopers Cadet Camp for 3 years, earning the Male Achievement Award his first year, the Most Outstanding Male Senior Cadet his second year, and an invitation to the Commissioner's Honor Camp at the State Police Academy in Hershey the third year. Wade was captain of the varsity swim team, and he competed at the district and state levels. This year, he earned 3 first places at the PIAA District 10 Swimming Championships and was a 2-time state qualifier. He also participated on the track team, competing at the district level each year. Wade is a 4-year member of the USA Triathlon and earned state, regional, and national rankings. In fact, he qualified for the national championships all 4 years of participation. Wade's volunteer activities include serving as an official poll worker during the past 2 elections. He has participated in Make a Difference Day and Global Youth Service Day. Remarkably, he successfully initiated and implemented 2 separate campaigns to support our troops. Wade is an elected student council member and actively engages in student government activities. He is described as having a tremendously good nature and an infectious energy, as he always manages to bring other spirits up by fostering positive attitudes in group situations. During summers, he works as a lifeguard here at Allegheny College and Meadville Country Club. Wade's career goal is to become a credentialed radiation therapist to help cancer patients. He has been accepted to Gannon University for the fall of 2019, where he will begin the radiologic science program. Unfortunately, Wade was not able to be here today. He had a medical situation come up, so but he sent his bio along, and his speech. So I'm going to say his speech for him. Okay. He says, "My name is Wade Clark, and I'm here this afternoon with my parents, Joel and Kelly Clark, in spirit. Ever since I was a young child, my main goal was to become the best person I could possibly be. One key ingredient to this is giving back to the community. Becoming a radiation therapist will help me accomplish this goal. I want to work with children and veterans who have been plagued with cancer. I hope that I can bring some happiness and hope into their lives while they are fighting the battle of their lifetime. I've been accepted into Gannon University in the Radiologic Technology program, and after completing this program and becoming a certified radiology technologist, I will complete a radiation therapy program to become a certified radiation therapist. I want to thank the board members for this scholarship opportunity. It amazes me that people I don't know are willing to invest in my education and future. I'm truly appreciative and grateful of this award, and I want to thank each of you for choosing me as a recipient." Okay, so just go ahead on with the next one. Okay, the next scholarship recipient is Taylor Goodspeed. Taylor is a daughter of Scott and Sherry Percy. Her weighted GPA at the Meadville Area High School is 4.55. Taylor has been accepted to Penn State University, Eberly College of Science, for the fall of 2019 semester, and she will major in biology. During her high school years, Taylor participated in the girls volleyball from 2014 to 2018, in track and field 2014 and 18 as well. Girl Scouts from 2014 to 2018. She proved herself as a great motivator and teammate for her fellow athletes and plans to continue her athletic career in track and field in college. Additionally, she volunteered in the Caring Closet and was a member of the school's yearbook staff. Taylor is described as incredibly respectful, sincere, and a good-natured person. She manages to bring up the spirits in the room and change a person's attitude for the better. Taylor?
Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Goodspeed. With me, I have my two hardworking parents, Sherry and Scott. He's over there. He had a leg cramp. I have my little brother, Orion. He is in 5th grade at 1st District Elementary. And I have our family friend, Sue. We're very close. We love her. I plan on attending Penn State Barron for 2 years and Penn State Maine for the other 2 years, major in biology. Hopefully get accepted, pass the DAT test, go to LECOM, school medicine, and become a dental assistant. That is my dream and my goal. I participate track at Penn State Barron. I'd like to thank the scholarship board for having me and giving this opportunity I worked really hard for, and my parents for believing in me, helping me this whole way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Taylor. And the next scholarship recipient that I would like to talk to you about is Abigail Lombardi. She is the daughter of James and Cheryl Lombardi, and her weighted GPA at Meadville High School is 5.61. Abigail was accepted to the University of Pittsburgh for the fall of 2019 semester, and she's going to major in communications. During her high school years, Abigail participated in extracurricular activities that included Kiwanis International Key Club from 2015 to 2019, Club President from 2018 to 19, Varsity Football Cheerleading 2015 to 2019, Spanish Club Member 2017 to 2019, Varsity Basketball Cheerleading 2015 to 2017, and treble choir from 2015 to 2016. Abigail was a member of the National Honor Society in 2018 to 19. She was selected as one of the 60 students to attend the 2018 Pennsylvania Governor's School for Global and International Studies at the University of Pittsburgh. She was a 2018 participant in tests of engineering aptitude, mathematics, and science teams competition. Abigail participated in the Allegheny Early Access Dual Enrollment Program and the Arts Immersion Gifted and Talented School Enrichment Program here at Allegheny College. Pennsylvania Governor's School for Global and International Studies at University of Pittsburgh, and the Summer Honors Program for high school students at Indiana University of Pennsylvania 2017. Abigail played the main role of Cinderella in the youth musical Into the Woods Junior at the Academy Theater, and was an ensemble member in Music Man, also at the Academy Theater. Abigail is described as a go-getter who sets and meets high standards for herself. She demonstrates strong critical thinking skills, and she encourages her classmates to think in similar ways. Abigail? Exit, honey, exit around this.
Good afternoon. First off, I would like to thank everyone here for coming out today. Most importantly, I would like to express my gratitude to all the members of the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Board for providing me with the opportunity to speak today and allowing me to receive this scholarship. I would especially like to thank Dr. Dixon for her many years of service and support to students. Now I would like to introduce my family who has come out to support me today. My parents, Jamie and Cheryl Lombardi, my older sister, Linnea, my grandparents, James and Mary Jane Lombardi, my grandparents, Joanne and Jack Richter, and my cousin, Ailey. Most importantly, I'd like to thank God for providing me with this wonderful blessing. For the past 5 years, I've been self-studying the Korean language. This is one of my biggest passions. Throughout high school, I was able to conduct several independent study projects related to Korean in my gifted and talented education class. I'd like to thank Mrs. Hyatt for running this class, which has allowed me to further explore my passion for Korean as well as my passion for filmmaking. During sophomore year, for my GATE project, I created a 10-minute long YouTube video in Korean about American high school life. Unlike how I had imagined, the video responded very well, and I received over 23,000 views on YouTube. Ever since then, I have grown my passion for creating videos and made more videos for my YouTube channel in Korean. This has played a large role in my decision to pursue a career in global communication media. This upcoming fall, I will be attending the University of Pittsburgh at the main campus. I intend to major in media and professional communications. Through this major, I would like to build skills to work for a media company that deals with international media or foreign language education through media. I plan to expand my knowledge of the world and acquire the tools to be successful in my career field while attending Pitt. I also intend to continue my language studies by minoring in Korean and hope to study abroad in South Korea. Thanks to the MLK scholarship, I will be able to freely strive towards these goals with less financial restrictions. This scholarship honors Martin Luther King Jr., someone that I deeply admire. Dr. King is known to have gone great lengths to promote equality and connect people through nonviolence. My goal is to emulate his strength in building an inclusive community through love, hope, and positivity. In my career, I intend to unite people with the use of global media. I believe that together, we can utilize media to create a global society that has more racial, cultural, and social sensitivity. This can be done by establishing mutual understanding and increasing positive connections all throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. And next scholarship recipient I would like to speak with you about is Miranda Sepulveda. She is the daughter of Louis Sepulveda and Susan Stewart. Her weighted GPA at the Meadville Area High School is 5.23. Miranda was inducted into the National Honor Society and is an active member of the local chapter. Miranda was accepted to Kent State for the fall of 2019 semester, and she will major in visual communication design in the College of Communication and Information. Through a partnership between the Erie Catholic Forensic League and Gannon University, Miranda has earned over $6,000 in scholarly money per semester, renewable up to 5 years for placing first in a local speech and debate meets. In fact, she has won the overall championship award for the past 2 years. During her high school years, Miranda demonstrated musical talents, artistic skills, and even performance experience. She was a member and officer of the high school marching band and leader of the speech and debate team. Miranda qualified for the speech and debate nationals the past 4 years and traveled all the way to Milwaukee to compete against top students throughout the country. She participated in the arts immersion program and is passionate about how graphic design can create visual solutions to problems. Miranda is described as friendly, respectful, and a mature young woman who maintains a rigorous scholastic and extracurricular participation, all while holding down a part-time job. And I'd like to introduce you to Miranda. You want to come up here?
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming out on this special occasion tonight, and give a special thanks to the MLK board for granting me this scholarship that I'm so grateful to receive. And I would like to thank and recognize my parents, Louise Sepulveda and Susan Stewart, along with close family friends Christian Nichols and Logan Scott. Now, I have to say that of all the scholarships I have applied for this year, this is the one scholarship I'd hoped the most to receive. I say this due to the fact that since elementary school, I have looked up to the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King was truly an amazing orator and communicator, one of the best in our country, with a message that has truly shaped our country to what it is today. Martin Luther King had many skills and talents, but I think it was his message that inspired me the most. When I looked up to Martin Luther King, what amazed me was how he was able to bring the country together through one message of equality. Communication has always inspired me. I had grown up watching TV, and I didn't realize it then, but I had paid close attention to everyone's least favorite part of television, the commercials. Television has this habit of rerunning commercials over and over again, and much to my parents' dismay, I had paid close enough attention to even memorizing an eye contact commercial I can still repeat to this day. And even when I grew up, I was fortunate enough to have amazing parents who showed me various places of our country, such as going to the Bronx in New York City with my mother and going to Puerto Rico with my father. In each of these places, some of the people I knew there did not speak English, and communication was difficult, but not entirely impossible. And I think when I got older and I thought about it more, I realized that even though we live in this country where your next door neighbor, your classmates, and your best friends can know a beautiful language different from your own, there is one powerful tool anyone can understand, and that is pictures. That is why, through combining my love for communication and art, I will be attending Kent State University for visual communication in the fall. It is my goal through creative problem solving and design that I will be able to communicate to a larger population in order to help improve the lives of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. The next scholarship recipient has a familiar last name. Sophia Sepulveda is the daughter of Louis Sepulveda and Susan Stewart. Her weighted GPA at Meadville Area High School is 5.16, and she was inducted into the National Honor Society. During her high school years, Sophia participated in MASH marching band, serving as secretary and leader of mellophones. She was in the PEP and county bands. Sophia joined the forensic speech and debate team and served as team captain. She was also part of the Allegheny Arts and Immersion program. Sophia has been accepted to Kent State University for the fall of 2019 semester, where she will major in early childhood education in the College of Education, Health and Human Services. Through a partnership between Erie Catholic Forensic League and Gannon University, Sophia has earned $5,700 in scholarship money per semester, renewable up to 5 years, for placing first in local speech and debate meets. Sophia qualified for Speech and Debate Nationals the past 3 years, and she traveled to Milwaukee to compete against top students throughout the country. Sophia has been described as having a strong work ethic, integrity, and care and concern for others. She maintains her academic excellence and participation in extracurricular activities, also while holding a job. Great family. Would you come up here, Sophia?
Good evening. I'm honored to be standing in front of all of you today as a recipient of the Martin Luther King Scholarship. With me here tonight is my mother, Susan Stewart, and next to her is my father, Luis Sepulveda. Also here tonight are my two best friends, Christian Nichols and Logan Scott. In the fall, I plan on attending Kent State University with hopes of double majoring in early childhood education and psychology in order to become either an elementary school teacher or guidance counselor. And before I go any further, I would like to point out that I had planned to attend Kent State first. And when Miranda discovered their outstanding visual communications program, she asked my permission to attend the same college as me. I'm happy to have said yes. However, I've had the aspiration to teach since I was 12 years old. I've always enjoyed the energy and honesty of kids in the elementary school age. Then when I was 14, I started teaching Taekwondo for 2 years with my father. Seeing students' ambitions to soak in knowledge I shared with them gave me great satisfaction because I got to watch each individual use their acquired knowledge to develop their martial arts skills and in turn, grow. I remember asking my 3rd grade teacher and close family friend, Rebecca Schaaf, last year, what made her decide to become a teacher. She responded with, I think I just always knew. I felt like I too always knew as well and realized I could see myself teaching for the rest of my life. Rebecca has been a teacher at Neeson Hill Elementary School for 15 years. She's one of the most driven and kind, supportive individuals I know. Therefore, last year, when her 9-year-old son, Wyatt, was diagnosed with a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, it made me rethink everything. I hadn't considered being a guidance counselor until roughly at that point in my life. I was told about Wyatt's diagnosis when my mom picked me up from school one day. I was sitting in the passenger seat and my mom told me, Wyatt has cancer. The news destroyed me and made me question a number of things because I never wanted to see him suffer. Yet thankfully, because he, like his mama, is extremely tough, he is in remission. But I vividly remember my mother doing extensive research and being on the phone with Rebecca, doing absolutely everything she could to support her dear friend. Being a guidance counselor at Neeson Hill for the past 26 years, I expected nothing less from my mother. She's always advocated for students, parents, and her coworkers during times of struggle for as long as I can remember. I realize right here in front of me are 2 extraordinary women who are superb at their job, but also love it. They get to use their compassion and drive to motivate and guide others to be the best versions of themselves, and I knew I wanted to follow in similar footsteps as them. I have confidence in no matter what career I do, I will be able to make an impact in ways that both Rebecca Schaaf and my mother have. Both have inspired me, but I want to praise both my parents, Susan and Luis, for working hard to raise me with an open mind and heart, motivating me and supporting me even when there were times where I would have given up on myself. I want to thank my best friend Christian for helping me find myself when I felt lost. You've helped me find confidence in myself and purpose in what I do. Finally, and most importantly, I want to thank the MLK Scholarship Board, who is the reason I'm standing in front of you all today. According to the National Association of Student Financial Aid and Administrators, 70% of colleges in the country are unaffordable to lower-income students. The simple financial burden of college can make students lose their motivation to continue their schooling. However, I firmly believe knowledge is a gift, and I never want to stop learning and passing that knowledge on to others. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank the MLK Scholarship Board for your generosity. Every student deserves a fair chance at furthering their education, and I look forward to using mine to help others and make all of you proud. Thank you.
Hearing those scholar recipients, we truly have a beloved community. Please, let's give them another round of applause. Thank you, Ms. Jens. Thank you, Dr. Dixon, Mr. Galbo. I'd like to now welcome to the podium, representing Crawford County, Commissioner Christopher Soff.
Thank you, Ron. Good evening, everyone. I first of all want to thank the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Committee for inviting us today. This is always a special event for my family, and we appreciate being included in celebrating the young folks of today. And to Demarius, I would say, always good to see you. We will never not welcome you home. And to the recipients, life hands you lessons when you least expect them. The lesson for today is to always be ready to be called into service, even when you're not necessarily prepared, and that's why you are seeing me up here today. But my brief remarks to you are this. The Scholarship Committee believes in you. Your family and your friends believe in you. This community believes in you. You will undoubtedly be successful if you believe in yourself. And when that time comes for you to do your life's work and answer your calling, we can only hope that you will do that work right here in this community. It will make our community better, and it will make us all better. So again, congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Soff. Representing the Crawford Central School District, I invite Mrs. Janet Filippa to the podium.
Good afternoon. My, what a very inspirational afternoon, and also very humbling. I'm glad I have something written because I think I would have been rendered quite speechless otherwise. So on behalf of Crawford Central School District, I would first like to thank the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Corporation for providing this awesome opportunity for our students, for the many local businesses and individuals who have made pledges and donations to this organization, as well as the many organizations that partnership with the MLK board that made this reception come to fruition. I would also like to thank every person who interfaced with these young people, aiding in their physical, social, emotional, behavioral, and intellectual development over the years to help create the outstanding students and individuals that are sitting here in front of us today. Next, I'd like to congratulate Marissa, Wade at home, Taylor, Abigail, Miranda, and Sophia for being responsible and exceptional students regarding the true meaning of education. And if I may quote Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. But remember that intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. And if we listened carefully to our guest speaker, Esquire Demarius Newsome, he was a fine example of this. His accolades of achievement are second to none. But if you did not hear the depth of his character, then you just weren't listening. So far in your young lives, you have taken good advantage of the opportunities presented before you, demonstrating superb academic achievement, along with outstanding character development, or quite frankly, you wouldn't be sitting in this room recipients of this great distinction. It is one in which everyone in this room can take great pride regarding each and every one of you. So now I ask that you heed one more belief of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., as well as a belief that is integral to part of the mission of Crawford Central School District, and that is being that you become lifetime learners. Dr. King said all progress is precarious, and the solution of one problem brings us face to face with another problem. Time, events, life circumstances are always shifting and changing. So continue your pursuit of learning throughout your life. Continue to increase your knowledge, use it in diverse and meaningful ways. That kind of energy fuels creativity and allows for solving problems in novel and visionary ways. Dr. King embraced the concept of lifelong learning and believed it to be essential for all humans to never stop educating themselves. I pray that you continuously pursue your desire to learn, sharing your knowledge and understanding in the direction of God's will, and with good moral intent to enhance the lives of all of the people who cross your paths. Congratulations and best wishes for a wonderful future filled with lots and lots of love.
Thank you, Mrs. Falepa, and thank you for serving as president of the school board. Next, I'd like to welcome to the podium, representing the city of Meadville, the Honorable Mayor Leroy Stearns.
Good evening again. Well, I get to play a lot of different roles tonight. I think the fun part was getting the facial expression of the recipients while they were reading their speeches. So we made memories this evening. If I could, I'd like to ask the former mayor, Christopher Soff, if he would help join me. Christopher, of course, like I said, was former mayor of Meadville, and you'll notice on his lapel and on mine, we have the city pin. So if I could have the recipients please stand and remain standing. We'd like to honor you with the city pin this evening to remember this great evening and the great work that you've done. Christopher? And while Christopher's walking, you guys did a phenomenal job. I don't have a big speech like everyone else. I'm kind of just a plain kind of person, but your great work is going to follow you the rest of your life. And you made Meadville proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Stearns. Next, I'd like to invite a longtime friend, an honoree of the Meadville Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Funds, Mrs. Janet Haas.
Hello. As you can see, I was limping up here. I forgot to bring my cane with me tonight. So let's hope all goes well. I couldn't make a speech without bringing my husband's name into it. And you've probably heard this before because I've spoken at 3 or 4 other scholarship receptions. But my husband, Dwight Haas, was a visionary. And he was a very community-minded person who not only had ideas about improving life in the Meadville community, but also willing to do hands-on work to see that things were accomplished. I was very fortunate to be married to this very special man. We moved to Meadville from Dayton, Ohio in 1970, and soon became acquainted with Armindia Dixon. Need I say any more? Armindia is so energetic and full of ideas to make our community a very special place to live. Dwight found out she had a vision for funding more scholarships for the community of Meadville, of the graduates from Meadville. In 1986, a capital fund drive was begun to make the Martin Luther King Junior Scholarship Fund perpetual. And an ad hoc committee was organized under the leadership of Elizabeth Pierce Stewart, who is Armindia's sister, And my husband, Dwight, Dwight Hawes, Director of the United Way of Western Crawford County, was appointed chair. Under Dwight's leadership, the scholarship became endowed. Thanks to Armindia and Dwight's vision, the fund is now invested in the Crawford Heritage Foundation. Because of Armindia and Dwight's leadership, many outstanding graduates from the Meadville High School will always be assured of scholarships. Congratulations to the 2019 Scholarship Award recipients. We are very happy to have you and your family members with us today or this evening. Now, this little message I have is for all seniors, whether scholarship or recipients or other seniors that might be here. Remember that graduation is new dreams, new plans, and a wonderful new life ahead. May they all come true for you. Best wishes for a wonderful future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Haas. Now we have one small bit of business. We're very proud of the scholarship fund and grateful to the community for its many contributions to help us deliver this fund for the scholarships. I'd like to invite to the podium now Reverend Marvin Burnett, Treasurer of the Meadville Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund.
Good evening. Good evening. As treasurer of the Martin Luther King Scholarship Fund, it is with great honor that I present our financial report. But first, I'd like to congratulate all of the Dr. Martin Luther King Scholarship recipients and your families. Congratulations for a job well done. And to Demarius, we sincerely appreciate you coming home and sharing that nice, warm, inspirational message for us. You have made us very proud. May God forever bless you and your family. You know, more and more, our students are attending colleges and other educational institutions. And more, the cost of education is going up. Students often graduate with a mountain of debt. We can help that situation by investing into the scholarship fund. So, my invitation for you today is to join with us that we can raise the necessary funds to help give more scholarships and larger scholarships. As a matter of fact, if you're compelled today, I'd like you to look at this pledge form on the back of the brochure, and today would be a good time to make your pledge. And don't even stop at yourself. Give one of these to your neighbors, your family, your co-workers, because together we can make it happen. You know, scholarships are very good because the old adage, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And if these children do not get the chance to go to college, then they have just lost out on some great opportunities. So I encourage you today to join with us and to give these scholarships so we can make things happen. And as the Demarius said, we can never say never, because we can be what we want to be and we can do what we want to do if we put our minds to it. In the coming year, stay tuned for the inauguration of our annual scholarship fundraising event, where all proceeds will go directly into the Crawford County Heritage Foundation, where we house our funds. You may be asked to serve on the event committee and be a guest at this event. I tell you, now is the time to raise a lot of money. Now is the time to increase our scholarship fund. I'm very proud to announce our annual financial report. As of today, we give 6 $1,000 scholarships to the scholarship recipients based solely on the interest that we receive from our investment. We currently have $5,589 of operating fund, and our funds are invested in the Crawford County Heritage Foundation, where we have a total of $152,910.63. We thank the Meadville community for your support through the years. And something just came to me. We don't want to be defeated. I play a little golf, and I heard Arnold Palmer say one time, if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost certain that you won't. Life's victories don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But in the end, the man that wins is the man that thinks he can. And I think that if we put our minds together, we can win with this scholarship, we can build it up, and we can send a whole lot of students to college. May God bless you, and may heaven smile on you.
Thank you, Reverend Burnett. I now invite President Dr. Armandia Dixon and Vice President Mr. Joe Galbo III to the podium.
I'll raise you. We apologize in advance that our friends with the fife and drum couldn't be here this afternoon. Want to use your copy, Doc? Or?
Well, we can.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. Can you see it?
Well, I can see. I'm fine. Can you?
Okay, I can.
Yeah, then we're good.
Your eyes are good.
Yeah.
Mr. Galbo, we have the distinct pleasure of saying thank you this afternoon.
Let's begin by again congratulating our scholarship recipients and thanking them for their outstanding speeches today, thanking their families, friends for nurturing love and guidance that makes a difference in their lives. How about a round of applause for them? And we thank you, Attorney Newsome, for being our speaker today and challenging the recipients of each of us to make a positive impact wherever we are. We fondly remember you featured in our marketing video that we had, and I can't believe that's 8 years. That's been
No,
8
because you know what? He said one day when we presented this video, you need to put somebody else in and take me out.
That's right, he did say that.
That's right.
So, and also the fact as the chairman of the Memorial Day Committee that he recited the Gettysburg Address. He not only recited the Gettysburg Address, he recited the Gettysburg Address from memory. And from that standpoint, because it was such a part of him that he could do it so passionately and so eloquently, I'm the backup person to do the Gettysburg Address at the Memorial Day observance in case somebody can't do it. And I will tell you, the one thing that I fear more than anything in life is that there's somebody in the crowd that heard him do it. So it's wonderful to see your grandmother, the Reverend Berta Lynn Jones, a pillar in our community, and your sisters. And again, welcome home, Attorney Newsome.
You know, I couldn't help but look back in our history today and reflect on how blessed we are that thanks to President James Mullen and Allegheny College, their sponsorship of this reception is just one of the many footprints they make in our community. Armstrong Cable has captured our history of honoring outstanding graduates. Mr. Tomini and Armstrong are there for our entire community. The Meadville Tribune is really our hometown reporter, and we thank the editor, Mr. Rick Green, and staff for including the stories about our fantastic young people and those who support them in their journey to become successful citizens.
And speaking of our history, there are honorees like our board president emeritus, Dr. Denise Johnson, and Dr. Elizabeth Pierce Stewart, who helped in the sustainability of the scholarship fund. There is Mrs. Janice Hawes, who worked alongside her husband, Mr. Dwight Hawes, to make for the perpetual scholarships that we have awarded for these 47 years. There is Dr. Dave Roncolato, who helped to develop the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program, now in its 10th year. Yeah, and how about a round of applause for that? And the mentoring staff is made up of Allegheny College students inspired by President James Mullen, Allegheny College faculty and staff. We honored President Mullen this year at our mentoring event. And I have to tell you again that when individuals point out problems in the community, there are individuals like Dr. Dixon, Allegheny College, that go about beyond the problems and actually make the solutions to the community. We fast forward, and each year our city and county officials are here to show their support for our recipients. There are so many towns and cities where our youth don't know who their county and city officials are. Thank you, Mayor Stearns, for the proclamation. Mayor Stearns, how unique it is that you are also the photographer today. Because of you, the recipients will receive prints during the honor night at Meadville Area Senior High School. Thank you, Commissioner Soff, and your lovely wife, Lori, for being here and for representing the Board of Commissioners of Crawford County. And we thank Dr. Johnson for responding to our recognition of you as President Emeritus. You're indeed like the giving tree, sharing your expertise beyond the Meadville Medical Center into the very heart of our community.
We are grateful that Reverend Sarah Roncolata and Stone United Methodist Church so graciously provide a beautiful meeting space for the Dr. Martin Luther King Scholarship Board.
And a round of applause. I would applaud, but I would fall down.
We're going to thank Reverend Sarah Roncolata too, because she will bring our benediction. There's nothing more precious than the blessing to go forth and serve. We'd like to thank Pinehurst Dining at Allegheny College for attractive and delicious refreshments.
How about a round of applause for that?
Thanks to each of you today for sharing in this occasion. You know, Mr. Galbo, this was an unusual year for you and for me. As it was meant to be, we can't hardly take a break, you know, with this foot and this knee of mine. Oh my goodness. But you know what? This community is beloved because they took care of us, didn't they?
They did take care of us. We never missed a beat, thanks to the wonderful committee that we have and also this community that helped put us back together again.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Now let me see, can I find my place?
Let me see that. In order to get our feet.
Okay. All right. You know, when we had our little medical problems, this was during the time when we most needed to be, getting ready for this reception. But under Reverend Melissa Burnett, the next officer in charge, we never missed a beat. So, Mrs.
Yeah.
You know, we really serve on a marvelous board.
We do.
My goodness, we all step up to the plate. And I want to really thank the board for this dinner celebration and bringing it all together. And I want you to meet each member of this remarkable board. You need to stand as I call your name. Reverend Melissa Burnett, Secretary. Reverend Marvin Burnett, Treasurer. Mrs. Dorothy Chapman, the Scholarship Committee. And I tell you, Dr. Ron Cole, who so masterfully guided us today.
Yeah.
Dr. Cole. Mr. Joel DeAngie. Mr. Michael Prester. You know, isn't it wonderful that we already have our built-in trio right on the board? So they do a marvelous job. So let's give our trio a big hand. Okay. Miss Linda Jens. Thank you, Miss Jens. All right. And Mr. Lee McFerrin. Thank you. Now, Mr. Galbo, we have a tradition of closing with special thanks for our honorees. Let's do this.
We shall. The board has the pleasure of carefully reviewing your essays and 3 letters of references written on your behalf. We look for the commonalities among you. Of course, you are all strong in academics, but then there was more. You are also described as personable and friendly, respectful of all people, having strong communication skills, serving on mission teams, engaging in community service learning, engaging in church activities, being no-nonsense students, having a positive attitude, and the list goes on. We are proud that you are strong in academics and strong in your love and respect for others by working and serving with them and getting to know others.
Look around you today and always remember that your parents, grandparents, teachers, county and city officials, Crawford Central School Board, President James Mullen, Crawford County Heritage Foundation, your church, community members, and our board of directors all support you in your desire to achieve your goals in life. We expect you to return like Demetrius and so Demarius and so many of our other recipients have done. It's your ability to stay knowledgeable and academically strong, along with service to others, where the dance of life takes place. It is a surprisingly beautiful and energetic dance.
Then we invite you to dance. Dance as you mark the milestones in your life. Dance as you trust the knowledge that you obtain.
Dance as you accept the job of a lifetime. Dance as you remember those who impacted your life. Dance as you make each step of service to mankind. Dance as you keep on learning and growing. Dance as you come to a place of wholeness, a journey that engages us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take your time, Joe.
I was going to say, stall for me, Ron.
So in a moment, we'll close the reception. Before I introduce Reverend Ron Collado, I wish everybody safe journeys home. I thank you for joining us in this afternoon of fellowship to celebrate the young scholars that we've recognized this evening, to celebrate the families that supported those scholars, their teachers, educators, and other leaders in this community, and for celebrating Meadville, our beloved community. Please give each other a hand for being here tonight. Thank you. Closing the celebration.
Could you also remind the students to come up front?
Oh, Thank you, Joe. One other point of business. Scholar recipients, before you leave, please join us up front for a group photo. And now, closing the reception this evening, I invite Reverend Sarah Roncolato to give our benediction.
I would ask you to stand if you are able, except Joe, he can say. All right? And so we leave here. We leave here with words about never. Never forget who you were when you were here and what you heard. And never forget that someone out there needs you to be the person that you've been called and created to be. So go in peace and go in power and go with purpose, knowing that the world is going to be better because you were here and now you're there. Amen. Amen.